If you type Bermuda into Google, the search engine quickly completes it with the addition of shorts. But there is so much more behind Bermuda, a dreamlike island that also has a lot to offer in terms of football and has also been able to celebrate success in recent years. That's what we talk about in this video. To get to our destination today, we are once again heading out to sea, more precisely to the North Atlantic, where the island of Bermuda is located. The territory is not independent, but a British overseas territory. The ties to the United Kingdom are strong, but Bermuda has only a little more than 60,000 inhabitants. The capital and largest city is Hamilton, which is also home to the largest port and airport. It is also home to the country's largest stadium, which brings us to today's topic, football in Bermuda. We have often talked about former British colonies in these videos, and as it so often is the case, it was representatives of the empire who introduced football to the population of Bermuda. The first records show that the first games took place at the end of the 19th century. To be more precise, the first clash between Team Regiment and Team Prospect Civilians is said to have taken place in 1879 at the Garrison Cricket Ground in Prospect. In the 1920s, the Bermuda Football Association was founded, and the first league-like operation took place in the 1927-28 season. At that time, football was still strongly characterized by segregation, according to skin color. So in 1936, a second league was formed in which teams played that were not allowed in the first league. It was not until 1984 that the BFA was recognized as an official association by both white and black residents. In 1954, the time had come and clubs with black players took part in the BFA Cup, the cup competition, for the first time. Sometime later, in November 1963, a joint league was finally decided. The first 3 titles then went to Young Men's Social Club, who had previously been unbeaten champions in the league of teams with black players. Fortunately, nowadays I don't have to tell you about any segregated league systems or other divisions. Those dark times belong to the past. Today, the teams all play together in their Bermudian Premier Division for the title on the island. The most successful club is PHC Zebras with 11 titles to date, most recently in the 2018-19 season. Now in October the new season starts, and as reigning champions Dante Town Hornets will be the hunted. 10 teams play in the league and the last 2 teams to be relegated. It is a great honor to have one of the most formative players in recent years, Dante Leverock, give me an insight into his home league. The 30-year-old not only has a number of stints in professional European football under his belt, he also proved himself a strong defender in the domestic league.
You do have good players, but it's definitely not, even at a semi-professional level. Players mainly play for fun. Don't let me wrong, it is rivalries and people want to win leagues. You have good players, but facilities, I've traveled around the world and seen a lot of facilities. Bermuda, not so good. Again, linking it to the national team, you don't have many local players playing for the national team, and even we have a lot of players that are younger that are going abroad into prep schools, wooden schools. So a lot of players are leaving Bermuda to further their football education. So I think that's important to say as well.
Teams from Bermuda have not appeared on the international stage for quite some time. In recent years, they have not made use of their right to compete in the Caribbean Club Shields, but have withdrawn beforehand. The last time Somerset Trojans took part in the CFU Club Championship as reigning champions was in 2016. However, they suffered 2 defeats in the group stage against teams from Haiti and Guadeloupe. Even before that, teams from Bermuda were only very irregularly involved in international tournaments. So let's delve a little deeper into history again. In 1991, the Dante Town Hornets and the Pembroke Hamilton Zebras qualified for the then CONCACAF Champions Cup and faced teams from the USA in the first round. While the Hornets were defeated by the Brooklyn Italians, the Zebras managed to beat the AAC Eagles from Chicago. Unfortunately, they then had to withdraw before the second round. Things went even better in 1986 when the Zebras beat teams from the USA, Belize and then Honduras to reach the semifinals. There, however, they were beaten by Alajuelense from Costa Rica. It remains to be said, however, that the teams from Bermuda were able to hold their own against other teams from the CONCACAF zone. Before we move on to the national team, Dante explains the importance of football in Bermuda today.
It is amateur status. It's not, it's not semi-professional. Players don't get paid. So, players work and train twice a week and play on weekend.
The first game of the national team was in 1964 in Reykjavik against Iceland. The first tournament was then the participation in the Pan American Games in 1967, where they made it to the final but were defeated by Mexico. They continued to progress step by step, and a year later they took part in the qualification for the World Cup and the Olympic Games for the first time. There, they suffered a number of defeats and the national team took its leave of the international stage for a long time. It was not until 1992 that Bermuda returned to take part in the qualifiers for the 1994 World Cup in the USA. They beat Haiti in the preliminary round and Antigua and Barbuda were not the last stop. This was followed in the group stage when they finished last in the group with El Salvador, Canada and Jamaica. To date, the team has not come close to qualifying for a World Cup, but in 2019 they achieved something historic by qualifying for the Gold Cup for the first time. Before that, their biggest success was a title at the 2013 Island Games, not an official FIFA tournament. As hosts, they beat Greenland, Falkland Islands and Froja. But back to the 2019 Gold Cup, many players in the squad actually came from the domestic league. But of course, there were also many players who played in England, Ireland or the USA. The team was led by captain Dante Leverock.
I'm sure we're ranked very low, but for the past, I want to say 2.5, 3 years, we've, created a lot of history making the Gold Cup, which is like, the Euros in North America. We qualified for that for the first time, so that was major. A lot of us that play on the national team, we've played together since little kids, from 5 and up. We all, Bermuda small, so we all know each other, know each other's families.
In Group B, they faced Haiti, Costa Rica and Nicaragua. The first game was a narrow defeat against Haiti, with Dante even managing to take the lead in the interim. They also held their own against Costa Rica, but were again beaten 1-2. This meant elimination, but the team put in a good performance against Nicaragua and won the first Gold Cup match in their history. The focus is currently on the CONCACAF Nations League, and I have a very good argument for you here why you should watch the games of the Bermuda national team in the future. In the match against Guyana, Dante scored a spectacular bicycle kick. Bermuda is currently in League B and has missed out on promotion to League A. Dante looks a little further into the future for us, what he hopes for football on the island.
So again, locally, there's a lot to be improved in terms of facility structure and development of the Bermudian player, the local Bermudian player. But in terms of the national team, I think we're definitely on an upward trajectory. Again, we made the Gold Cup, which is equivalent to the Euros in North America. We just missed out last year. Beginning of this year, we lost to Haiti in the final qualifier to make the Gold Cup again. So a couple years ago, we weren't even fathom making a Gold Cup. So it's definitely improving. And again, we have a lot of players that are playing. We have players at West Ham, Burnley, Watford, in academies now. Guys like Dale who are playing semi-professional. We have a lot of players abroad in boarding schools that are going to top colleges in the US. So, the quality of players definitely improving. So I think that will help the national team as well.
I hope that after watching this video, you will no longer associate Bermuda with shorts, but with this incredible goal from Dante. Bermuda football is fascinating, and the national team, with many players playing in the UK, has made the cut for the CONCACAF top flight. Only time will tell if more is possible for this small country with a population of only 60,000. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you travel around the world to experience the fascination of football. Take care.